rained. I'm not mad because we have
Hold
rain.
on. What were you going to say about the rain?
I said, no, I'm glad it rained because we have raised garden beds in our backyard, and
do
we
you?
had rain on that vegetable garden.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have two 12-foot raised garden beds in our backyard, and
Now, is your yard fenced in?
yes, it is.
Okay. All
Oh
right.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
See, I got a big problem. I live on the hill, but the deer,
Yeah.
I have a porch garden.
So Lynn, what is this with this thing with these deer just in the hood like they comfortable?
Oh, they are comfortable. I mean, I
Yeah.
walk up the steps to my house and they're like, yo, what's up? Where you going?
Where you going? Right.
Here. I'm sorry, Mike. We're ready. We're ready. We are back here on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. Marlin Woods is our guest. We got so many things we could talk about. So, we mentioned, you've talked about in the last two segments, you're a father, you're a husband, you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a pastor. That wasn't enough for you. You had to run for mayor. I mean, and I guess the other part of that is, I mean, you started at mayor, not like city council or anything. You
Yeah.
started at mayor. Put
Yes,
that
indeed.
together for me.
Say that one more time.
Put that all together for me. You started at mayor, like
Well, you
your
know what?
plate wasn't already full.
Listen, so and this is a great question. This leads right into what I like to talk about, and that's responsibility, Lynn. That's the one interwoven theme of this conversation, and quite frankly, all of my responsibilities in life. You know, as out here as an influencer and a professional. You know, responsibility. You know, I mean, let me share this with you. In 2008, I was 34 years old. I underwent coronary artery bypass surgery,
Wow.
open heart surgery
Yeah.
on a 34-year-old who was in perfect health and a weekend warrior athlete.
Wow.
And so, and we're talking about all how these things are interwoven.
Mm-hmm.
34 years old. So the reason that happened was because I was having fainting or blacking out like sensations, but not actually blacking out. And so I went to one hospital system and they laughed and told me that I had anxiety. And then I went back, I started having these sensations again, went back a week later. They said, listen, you're fine. You have anxiety. Nothing's wrong with you. Well, then I went, Lynn, to another health system down the street. And I said, I'm telling you, there is an issue. Well, they started doing testing. And they said, we have this new technology. So we're gonna scan your brain. And then we're going to look at to see if there's any masses or any growth on your brain because of this blacking out sensation. When there was nothing that was reported back or that was came back, no issue. They said, we're going to take a look at your heart. Well, long story short, the ER doctor comes in and says to me, there is something different with your anatomy. I don't know what I'm seeing, but I have to call a cardiologist. And then he leaves. And he leaves and he's sitting there saying something like that. So a cardiologist comes in, looks at the chart, says to the ER doctor, that's exactly what you're seeing. And he said, gosh, I haven't seen one of these in 20 years. So he comes in and says to me, son, he said, there is something different with your anatomy. You have what's called an anomalous right coronary artery. It means you have an artery that formed in the wrong place from birth. So it's congenital. It's an artery that's in a place that it does not belong. Mm-hmm. And as a result, it's being pinched off. He said, this is very rare. He said, however, you hear the stories all the time where the basketball player in the prime of his career drops dead on the basketball court and no one knows why until the autopsy. You have that. He said, now, one of two things. You can either go on about your business, you can live until tomorrow walking up a flight of stairs and drop dead, sudden death, or you can allow a cardiothoracic surgeon to do open heart bypass surgery on you to repair that, to remove the risk of sudden death. He said, because quite frankly, there are no symptoms for what you have. There's only one symptom, you drop dead. He says, I have no idea what these other sensations are for. But thankfully, you came in for those things because we found this.
Wow.
So I'm saying that to say that years later, I now find myself in 2017 sitting on the board of directors of the American Heart Association as a responsibility to give back. I didn't ask to be on the board of directors. I just wanted to volunteer at one of the heart walks. But they Googled me and looked me up and they said, who you are in the community and who you are as a person professionally, we want you represented on this board. And emphatically, I said yes. So then they brought me onto the board of directors and made me chair, after a couple of years, made me chair in 19 of leadership development. And so that said, according to pastor, father, consultant, author, and all of these things, the responsibility to leadership, which leadership can only be executed by one way, one methodology, service. And service literally means to raise the quality of life of another, which is why servers do this. And so service is how you execute leadership. And the example that you execute leadership by is according to that service methodology or modality or mentality. So all of these things interwoven from the things that you mentioned, it was a responsibility of mine to connect with people I deem myself responsible for. And back to what my great grandmother said, boy, you are responsible for something, to lead a people one day. She said, and you are going to do exactly that. It's going to meet you as an adult, and you are built for it.
And she told you that when you were in the third grade.
Third grade.
And you held on to that. We got a minute and a half left before we go. Just tell me, so what does the campaign look like? It's grassroots, you door to door. Tell me what it looks like.
So grassroots, door to door, and doing the grind that you have to do as someone that is not a political, a careered political official or elected official, but to make for certain that driving the awareness of the value that Marlin Woods and the team that Marlin Woods is bringing with me into the mayor's office can raise that standard of quality for everyone, rich or poor, black or white, each individual, not a broad brush, but each individual in each household, on each block, in each neighborhood. That's the responsibility. That's leadership. And Lynn, that's my product.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, this is just the beginning. I'm glad to have you on the show today. I'm guessing you'll be back again and again, and we'll watch the campaign. Good luck, and we thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate you.
Take good care. I'll be back with closing thoughts in just a minute. Sorry, I got caught up in that.